Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick video for you all about um, kind of sleep training and also a little bit of like my daughter and how she had colic. So I've really been thinking about doing a video about this a lot because I feel like a lot of moms out there have babies with colic or just have babies with sleep problems and they just don't really know like where to go for help or what to do for help and stuff like that. So, um, my daughter had colic from about 3 weeks old until I would say about 3.5 months old. She wasn't an early baby. She wasn't born, um, before her due date. She wasn't premature or anything like that. And I know that a lot of babies that are, they'll blame the colic on that because they don't have the right amount of time to like for their intestines to develop. So my daughter was born at 41.5 weeks, so she had plenty of time for that to develop, for her insides and everything to develop. So I don't think it was that. I do think that some babies just have colic. Because we don't know why, and that is kind of it's so nerve-wracking. Like I found myself just I don't know, I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that there was something wrong with my baby and nobody knew what, and nobody knew how to help, and there was no help. Like it was just, this is it, this is what you got. So I was just very upset. I was very um, angry that this was happening to me and my husband, and it was our first baby. And it really took a toll on me, on my husband, on our relationship. It took a toll on, just everything. I suffered from postpartum depression. I think, that it was just a miserable time. And I think that so many moms, first time moms especially, think that it's going to be, oh, I'm going to be tired, and oh, you just don't know. So obviously you can't really even imagine what it's going to be like, but it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but you never know it's going to be like that, especially with a baby with colic. So there is no cure, I guess. I mean, we tried everything. We tried gas drops, which they helped a little bit. We tried gripe water, which maybe it helped for 10-15 minutes. We tried Colic Calm, which was like this black tarry, gritty tarry stuff, which we gave it to her twice and it really didn't help, and I just didn't feel comfortable with giving her that. It just seemed I think it is natural, but it just seemed a little bit gross, and I just wasn't, if it wasn't going to help for hours, then I wasn't going to give her that. So we tried that though, and we also tried like a probiotic drop. It was like a Gerber Soothe drops, colic drops. And we did that, like maybe, we did those for a while. We did that, and I'm not sure if it really did anything because nothing made it go away. It was just time. So that was just a really hard time for me and my husband. And my daughter. I mean, she, poor thing, cried for 3 or 4 hours or more a night. There were a few nights, and I will remember these nights for the rest of my life, just because I'm traumatized from them. But it's not her fault, but where she cried from 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, maybe even 7 o'clock at night, or was really, she would start getting fussy around like 6 or 7. We would have full blown crying by like 8 or 9, and most of the time it would be over around midnight. But there were a few nights where it would go until the next morning, until 6 a.m., until 5:30 a.m., whatever. And I remember one night specifically, but I think there were 2 or 3 that happened, and it was just awful. It was awful. I felt just so defeated, so helpless, so Oh, just those feelings, they kind of flood back when I think about it. And it was so hard. And my heart goes out to anybody that has a baby with colic. It is the hardest thing in the world. It is hard as heck to have a baby in general, a newborn in general. But a baby with colic, a non-easy baby, it's really rough. So, um, if you do have a baby with colic, just reach out to whoever you can. If you are feeling down, reach out to your doctor. And I wish I wish that I would have maybe gotten some help, just with medicine or something, because I would cry every day. So if you're feeling that way, if that ever happens again, or whatever, I will definitely reach out for help immediately, because I don't ever want to feel like that again. It was really hard. So, yeah, there was no cure for her colic. We had an ergo carrier, and I would carry her in the ergo pretty much most of the day. For her naps, she would either nap in the ergo for a little bit, or she would nap just on me, nursing. I would have to hold her for every nap. We would have to co-sleep. She didn't know how to fall asleep on her own. She would only fall asleep nursing. So it was just really, really rough. So once the colic passed, and we had kind of, they say you can't spoil a baby, but we had kind of spoiled her, because she had colic and she needed all these things to sleep. And we kind of spoiled her. So once the colic passed, we kind of realized that, yes, she just doesn't know how to sleep. She has no clue. She doesn't know how to put herself to sleep. She doesn't know how to stay asleep. Um, it was like kind of crazy. So we were going on a vacation right when she was around 4 months old. No, 5 months old. We thought about sleep training a little bit after the colic had passed, which was around the 4 month mark. But then they go through a 4 month sleep regression. So we were going through the 4 month sleep regression, and then I told, my husband, after this is over, we'll sleep train her. She needs it. I need it. There's no other way. I can't keep doing this. I was a zombie. I was miserable. I was depressed. I wasn't sleeping. I was co-sleeping and waking up every hour of the night or more. I needed, I needed my life. I have a stepson that I had to take care of. I have a daycare that I had to run, and there was no way. I just felt myself just sinking lower and lower as this kept going on. So we were going on vacation right around like the 5 month mark. So we decided the week that we get back from vacation, we're going to sleep train her, because we didn't want to do it right before vacation and then go away and then have her in a whole different environment and everything. So we figured we'll do it right when we get back from vacation. So our vacation was a little bit rough. It was rough on all of us. I think probably rough on me. My husband got really sick, so he couldn't, do the normal stuff like with my stepson. So it wasn't a great vacation, to say the least. So then once we got back, we decided, I think it was 2 or 3 nights, maybe even a week after we got back, after everybody was kind of settled, we decided to sleep train her. Since she had colic, I had read so many sleep training books. I mean, I read 3 or 4 different books, and honestly, like, they all kind of meshed together, and they all kind of ended up saying the same thing in the end. Other people had different, like, more options or less options, or there was one book, and I'll definitely put it in the description what it was, because I can't think of it right now. I think it was like Healthy Sleep Habits, Happy Child, by Dr. Weisenberg. He had a whole section in there about babies with colic and how to help them, sleep better, and how it would be even harder with babies with colic, because they were used to, being rocked, shushed, bounced, nursed, everything. So, just so that they wouldn't cry. Which I kind of I found that section of his book helpful. The rest of his book, I didn't really find that helpful. I also read the Sleep Sense program by Dana Opelman. her book was great. I really liked her methods and how flexible she was with her different methods that you could do. So I kind of at the end of the day, we kind of just meshed all of the concepts together, and kind of made a plan. That's really all you need when you're sleep training your child, is a plan, and you need to stick to it, and you need to be consistent. It doesn't matter if you stay in the room, if you leave the room, if you go in every 3 minutes, if you go in every 7 minutes, if you go in every 20 minutes. It's really what you're comfortable with and what you decide, but don't go in every 7 minutes and then the next night go in every 2 minutes, because that'll just confuse the child. So we made we made a time. Our time was 20 minutes, and we just stuck to it. That was it. Like, from the night that we put her down, we had, me and my husband had talked about it, so we were both on the same page. So we both knew what we were each supposed to do. And since I was such I was like a human pacifier for her. So we kind of, my husband had to really kind of step up and take kind of charge of the sleep training. Because if I would go back in the room, she would, just think, oh, I'm going to be nursed. And we didn't want her to think that. So, and she really wasn't comfortable with my husband soothing her. It was always me, and it always had to be me, but we had to teach her that it couldn't always be me, and that, my husband is a parent too, so he wanted to be a part of it too. He wants to be able to bond and soothe and comfort his daughter. So that was a big thing. So we made sure that he would do the check-ins. It would be every 20 minutes. And the first night, I think we had to do 2 check-ins. It wasn't constant wailing. It was some crying, definitely unhappiness, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like, oh my gosh, she's just out of control. I just, in my head, I just thought, okay, this is her learning how to be alone and fall asleep by herself. So, it worked. After a few days, it worked. And there isn't any, I don't think there's any magic trick. I think that there's so many people that think like, oh, I have to pay all this money or do all this stuff to sleep train my child. But you really don't. All you really need is a plan. And it helps if you have another parent that can help you. In my instance, when my daughter, just only wanted me, and we had to teach her that she was not always going to get me, that, my husband was the one that was going to do the check-ins, I think that helped me because it made me, we had it in our heads or on paper or whatever that, it was going to be him, it was going to be every 20 minutes, it was going to be for however long it took. And I think we did 2 check-ins the first night. And then what we also decided was that if she settled for 5 or 10 minutes and kind of fell asleep, that or if she just settled and kind of was looking around, that we would count that as like a restart. So every time that she would just be quiet, and we have a video monitor, so we can always like see what she's doing. So if she was just looking around or being quiet, we're like, okay, well, that doesn't count towards the 20 minutes. It was only 20 minutes of crying, because she needs that time to really learn to fall asleep on her own. And I know some people will think that this is an awful idea. I know that some people will think co-sleeping is wonderful, and I honestly, it was all that would work for us for, like 5 months. So yes, co-sleeping was wonderful. It was hard, but it was wonderful to the point where I didn't have a screaming baby all night, and at least I was laying down and resting, even though I wasn't really sleeping most of the time. But and the rest of my family could rest without hearing the baby crying in the house. So yes, co-sleeping was really good for us, but it just wasn't what we wanted long term. And other people, different people want different things, but that's what we decided for our family would be best. And then we decided to switch it up and teach my daughter how to sleep. So the second night wasn't that bad. I think we did we may have done 2 check-ins again, maybe just one. I didn't record it. I did record it. I had a whole journal, and I do recommend doing that because I would write down everything. I would write down what time we put her to bed, what time she went into the crib, how long she cried, what time she fell asleep, and then if she woke up, then I would record that again. And so I could see, like, throughout the week, her sleep journal and how the patterns were going. And I could tell that there were definitely nights where it was so easy, and then she would kind of protest a little bit. And I could look back and say, okay, well, the last time that she protested, this happened, and then she finally fell asleep, or we did 2 check-ins that night and she finally fell asleep. So now my daughter is 14 months old, and she is doing beautifully. There are definitely still nights where we have to go back up and do a check-in. It's not a lot. It's been in the last 2 months. Well, she's been sick too, so that kind of you don't want to let them cry when they're sick. But I would say in the last 6 months, we've only done a handful of check-ins with her. So she's really learned. She's really done great. We've stuck to a schedule. We've stuck to a bedtime. We've stuck to our routine. We do a bath. We do PJs and, all that. And then I nursed her. And then my husband would come in, read her a book, sing her a song, and put her in the crib. So that really worked for us. We made sure that I wasn't nursing her right before going into the crib. We made sure that she was wide awake, that she had, my husband read her a book and sung her a song, put her in the crib wide awake. So that was a big thing also, because there was a lot of times where I would nurse her to sleep and put her, in the swing or the crib or whatever. And, 20 minutes later, she'd wake up screaming because when she fell asleep, she was with me, and when she woke up, I'm gone. So I really definitely wanted it to be her putting herself to sleep. So I just want to tell everybody out there that there is hope for your colicky babies, or even just your babies that aren't good sleepers. There is definitely, it's hard. It's really hard on parents. I think it was really hard on me, maybe even more than her. Hearing them cry even for 2 or 3 minutes is horrible. It's awful. And you just don't want to do it, but you have to do it because what else is gonna, something's got to give, and they've got to learn. And I mean, I think some books or doctors or whatever recommend that you can do sleep training around the 4-month mark, but I just wasn't comfortable. We waited closer to 5.5 months. And that's the thing. You can customize it. You can do what you want to do. And we did what we wanted to do. And there was a few months after we even sleep trained that I still did some feedings in the night. And I think she was ready to cut out all of the feedings, but she was a bigger girl. I don't think she was hungry. I think she just wanted the comfort. And so yeah, there was a few months where I would go in once or twice a night and nurse her for 10 minutes and put her back in the crib, and she would put herself back to sleep. At that point, I was really okay with that because I had, that was what I felt was a normal experience to have with my baby, is to nurse her in the middle of the night, go in, rock her, nurse her, and put her back in the crib to go to sleep. So I enjoyed that little bit of time. And then she ended up one day just sleeping through the night all by herself, and we kind of never looked back after that. And really, she didn't need it, so she wasn't waking up in the middle of the night. She slept through. So I guess I just want to let everybody know that there is hope for your baby, your non-sleeping baby, your colicky baby. The colic, it's just, you just have to get through it. You just have to power through it. It is the hardest thing I have ever done. I really don't know if I'll ever have another baby because of it. It's I want to, but I don't know, because that was really, really hard. I don't think I can go through that again. But again, saying that if I ever felt that way again, I would definitely get help, see someone, talk to somebody, medicine, whatever, whatever helps. But if anybody has any questions on what else I did, to help my baby get to sleep, whether it was uh, pre-sleep training or post-sleep training, leave me a comment down below and I will definitely get back to you. And I just really hope that, you guys are successful if you do sleep train. And if you do have a colicky baby, I really feel for you. There is a group on Facebook, and I think it's called Colicky Babies or something. I'll link that also down below, and that is just such a great support group. Whenever you're just having a really rough day, I would always go there and I could either comment on, help other people, or just say, guys, this is horrible. Like, what the heck? So I would definitely recommend checking that out if you do have a colicky baby. But now my daughter was napping and I think she just woke up. So I am going to go get her, and I really hope that everybody's having a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!